Hi guys, welcome back. We are still working on the small but mighty dragon. In this video we're going to be making the tail and the end of the tail. In the last couple of videos we made the body, and if you missed those ones, there is a link up here and that will bring you to the playlist of the small but mighty dragon, and it has all the videos that are available to you in that list. Okay, for the tail and the end of tail we're going to be using the same crochet hook we used to make the body with. And we're also going to be using our blunt end yarn needle. So grab what you need and let's get started. In this video I'm going to show you how to do the first 4 rows. Even though they're the same sort of thing that we did for the body, I'm still going to walk you through the first 4 rows because if you're a beginner it's a little bit difficult to work in such tiny rows. And if you look at the written pattern, the first 4 rows used here are pretty much identical to what we use in the end of the tail. So I'm not going to walk you through those ones because it's pretty repetitive, so just pay attention to what we do here. Alright guys, we're going to start row 1 by making a magic ring, and remember when we did the body, it's the same thing that we made when we made the body. It's that little ring that gives some people some troubles, so if it's giving you troubles, I hope you're not discouraged. I hope you just keep trying and taking breaks when you need them. So I'm going to go over it again with you, but I'm not going to go as slowly as I did the first time. So row 1 is a loop with 6 stitches. Again, I'm going to take the shorter yarn tail and wrap it around these 2 fingers twice. Hold that yarn tail between my pinky and my thumb, and the working yarn between my pinky and my thumb. Insert the hook, go to the back, grab that yarn and pull it underneath these rings. We're making a slip knot. Now I'm going to grab the yarn one more time and pull it through the loop on my hook. There, my slip knot is made. Now I can crochet on, and I'm going to go ahead and put 6 single crochets into this ring. There's 1, and now I'm going to speed it up to 6. And 6, and now we're going to close up the ring, pulling on one of those strings. Oh, I got lucky again! First try! And I'm going to pull on that shorter yarn tail and get rid of that string. And there's my loop with 6 stitches. In the future, you see that big gap there? If you want to get rid of that big gap, on things like the base, say we're going to be doing this again when we do the head, see that's going to be row 1 right there. When you do the magic ring for that time, you want to close up that gap. You don't want to see that gap there. And you can even do it after you do another row. You can close up that gap as long as you have a starting yarn tail to pull on. Okay, for this one I'm going to leave the starting yarn tail hanging. I'm not going to work it into the second row. Row 2 and 3 is 1 single crochet in each one of those 6 stitches for 2 rows. So I'm going to go over this row with you because I know it's very difficult working in small rounds. So we're going to take our time and put 1 single crochet into the first, one single crochet into the second stitch, one single crochet into the third stitch, one single crochet into the fourth, and see how it's folding up on itself? That's totally fine. We can flip it once we're done this row. One single crochet into the fifth, and it gets kind of hard to see the stitches, so if it happens to you, just pull it back and see. This is the one we just worked. Make sure you're getting into the next one. And now last one of the row, 1 single crochet into the sixth. And make sure you're going through both loops of the stitch every time you go through. And there's the end of row 2, and look how folded up that is. So now we're going to stop and flip it. We're going to turn it right side, pull out your last stitch so you don't lose it, and just push where that starting yarn tail is coming out of, inward. And if you can't do it by using just your fingers, use your back of your crochet hook and push that in. Alright, we need to do one more row of single crochets, and again I'm going to work this row with you because I know it's difficult working in small rounds. Now you can add a marker if you want, but I think for this one let's just count in our heads as we go around. because a marker could get in our way. And I'm just going to hold this starting yarn tail out of my way. This is the one I just worked. You want to make sure you're getting into the next stitch of the row. This is row 3. 1 single crochet in the first. Remember to take your time. 1 single crochet into the second. 1 single crochet into the third, 1 into the fourth, 1 into the fifth, and last one of the row, 1 into the sixth. And we made it! There's our 2 rounds of single crochets, and we worked in such a small round. You should be very proud of yourself if you got this far. Alright guys, now we can cut this up a little bit shorter, and we can just tuck that little bit into the end of the tail. Just push it in there. So also do a stitch count. It's very easy to skip a stitch or go into the same stitch twice, so you might want to make sure that you have 6 stitches around. Okay, row 4, I'm going to work this one with you. It's 1 single crochet in the first, 1 in the first, and then 2 single crochets into the second stitch. There's the second one. So you can add a marker if you want, or just work this row with me. 1 single crochet in the first, and 2 single crochets into the second stitch. Okay, now we're going to repeat that. 1 single crochet into the first, and 2 single crochets into the second stitch. We're almost done already. Almost done this row. And now last time, 1 single crochet in the first and 2 into the second. And that's the end of row 4. Now we have 9 stitches around. I'm going to show you the written pattern. We just finished row 4. Now we're going to put a single crochet in each one of those 9 stitches for 2 rows. And see how repetitive it is? Number 7, 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. And then you're going to repeat that all the way around. When you land on the marker, you'll be putting 2 single crochets into that stitch. At the end of that row, you'll have 12 stitches around. So see how repetitive that all is? I'll let you continue on, and we'll meet back here at the end of row 18. So make sure you add a marker. Do a stitch count every once in a while. You can pause the video now and then hit play at the end of row 18. So there we are at the end of row 18. And remember, if you are unsure, you can always count the rings. And you start down here and you count behind your marker. And you just count the rings. 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up. And you should have 18 when you get to here. Okay, now we're going to slip stitch the next stitch and finish off. Go through, pull the first loop through the second loop, and now we can finish off. And we're going to leave a nice long tail for sewing, because we're going to use this tail, this yarn tail, to sew the tail to the dragon's body. Get it down to about there and pull tight. Now you can set the tail aside, and you can go ahead and make the end of the tail. And once you're done row 5 and you slip stitch and finish off, leave a little bit of a tail for sewing. Come on back here and I'll show you how to sew up the edge. Alright, now that you have the end of the tail made, we're not going to stuff it, but we're going to sew it up. The last stitch that you just put in should be on the side, so just rotate your piece so this is on the side. Go ahead and thread your yarn tail, and then we're going to push our needle right through underneath those V's of the stitches, and then directly out the other side, and then come back through from back to front. Now let's bring this to the middle of the tail, just like that. Just bring the yarn tail through, and now we'll just leave it hanging until we're ready to sew it in place. Alright my friends, that brings us to the end of this video. In the next one we're going to decorate the tail. So we're going to add the spikes along the back of the tail, and that video should be popping up on your screen. You just click that little box and I'll meet you over there.